Hello, my name is Kaz Kisuchi, and this is my final project for Advertising 342. All right, so let's start with the topic. Basically, we were given the task by Coca-Cola to conduct qualitative and quantitative research for them, in regards to creating a new nostalgic-based advertisement. Um, the following is our recommendation for Coke based on the complete research and analysis that we found. So a little bit of background. For this project, one of our main goals was to find out how nostalgia affects people and how to use it to the best of our ability. One of the most important things that we needed to realize is that whether good or bad, nostalgia evokes strong emotions in people. It makes people emotional buyers. It makes people associate happy emotions that they have with the product. In a lot of ways, it's exactly what we need. Nostalgia also has the power to stop people from having feelings of loneliness. This is a big one that we have to put a lot of emphasis on, um, because we can replace feelings of loneliness with happy memories relating to Coca-Cola from their past. Thinking about being with your family and enjoying a Coke in the good old days. And again, when people are in good moods, they're more likely to be buyers. That's basically sales 101. And if we can get people feeling these happy, fun, good emotions instead of being lonely and replacing them with happy thoughts of Coca-Cola, we can create buyers. And we basically predicted that women are more likely to associate Christmas and Coca-Cola than men. And the older a person is, the more affected they are by nostalgic advertising. So for the method, how did we collect our research? Basically, we did qualitative and quantitative data, or survey and a focus group. For the participants, we reached for 30 men and 30 women aging from 18 years and up, and they did not have to be a fan of Coca-Cola to drink it. And the reason we had such a wide range of ages is because Coca-Cola is a unique product where it doesn't have a set demographic. For example, you look at a product like Barbies. It's made for women ages 5 to 13. We don't have that demographic. We need to go broad. The oldest person that ended up taking the survey was 76 years old. So our results range from 18 to 76. And again, they did not have to like Coke or enjoy it. We basically just sent out an anonymous link. We distributed it as broadly as we could over social media. And then we also sent it to friends and family and asked them to share it to their mutuals. All participation in this was completely unpaid, and you had to be willing to participate. So, what were our results? Hypothesis one, like we said, predicted that women were more affected by Christmas nostalgia than men. These findings were not supported. So essentially, we ran a t-test comparing two groups, men and women. We asked these men and women on a scale 1 to 10 how much they associate Coca-Cola to Christmas. What we can see down here is that the mean for women was 4.5 out of 10, and the mean for men was 3.15 out of 10, and they each had a standard deviation around 2. So essentially, was what that's saying is that the standard deviation is basically accounting for possible error, saying, oh, yeah, it's 3.15, but it could be within a range of 1.77. So from these results, and with a low p-value, one that's less than zero point 0.5, we found that these results were non-significant. And I guess if there are any results, not enough to report or publish reports about it or data or go off this data. Because even looking at the standard deviation, even though 4.5 is a bigger number, minus 2.14, we're back to 1 point something. That data cannot be produced in a way that we can make conclusive decisions off of it. So it's just not significant. And for the second hypothesis, we predicted the older you get, the more affected you are by nostalgia. These findings were also not supported. To do this, we used a correlation test, and we could conclude that there was no significant relationship. The R value was negative 0.09. So basically, anything under zero point 0.5 is there's no significant relationship. Basically, if this was a scatter plot, the dots would be randomly all over the place, connected by a very thin theme. So yeah, we did not find that the older you got, the more affected you were by nostalgia. It really is a person to person thing. Um, so the results for the focus group. Again, it was helpful, but it only confirmed what we already knew through the qualitative data. Um, excuse me, the quantitative data. The focus group was conducted with three men, three women. They were the ages of 20 to 22. They were all college educated and in college, and they fit the age range of that. And while they agreed that the nostalgic ads were cute and fun and kind of just a fun thing to watch, didn't persuade them to buy Coke one way or another. We basically had them watch a nostalgic Coca-Cola ad with Christmas themes and then one that was just nostalgic. And again, they weren't greatly affected by either advertisement, just confirming what we already knew. So based off this data, our recommendations to Coca-Cola would be to go in a different direction in general. Looking at both the results from the survey and the focus group, it is clear that Christmas nor nostalgia sells as much as we thought it was going to. It is our recommendation that you do an ad campaign focusing on a ton of different holidays, not just Christmas. And you can use themes of nostalgia, but don't make that the selling point of the advertisement. For example, Thanksgiving, Father's Day, Halloween, Mother's Day, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Valentine's Day. As somebody who is personally Jewish, I find it interesting that there are not Hanukkah-based ads and that this isn't a focus of what we do as a company. So I think that you're missing a big portion of the audience with that, and with Kwanzaa as well. Valentine's Day, you can make it related to love. I think the biggest selling point should be Mother's and Father's Day. You can use Coca-Cola as a gift for your parents using themed bottles. This is like, in a way, you're sharing love with your mother. Coca-Cola is how you express your love to your father. This instills Coca-Cola's themes of family and tradition, which they are dedicated to maintaining. So again, just instead of making a nostalgia Christmas ad, we think that it would be best if each holiday got its own attention in a tasteful way. It's more inclusive and it's just a smarter business move based off the data we collected. So I just want to preface by saying there were some weaknesses in the data collection. We strived to get 30 men and 30 women, but we had trouble reaching the 60 count. We only got to 58. And again, of those, a majority of them were women. So if you wanted to make more conclusive data that you wanted to publish or really be sure about before you scrap the nostalgia idea, um, the survey wouldn't have to change, but it would have to be redistributed and recollected, reanalyzed. Not that it's the end of the world, but definitely something to think about. Besides that, our research went really well, and it's important to the decision-making progress, so it had to get done, and it got done in a tasteful, efficient way. Overall, the research we concluded helped a lot with the decision-making process. And like we said, there's some flaws in the data, how the data was collected, but it was strong enough that Coca-Cola can make an educated decision to go in a different direction from nostalgia and Christmas. And like we said, based off everything is our best recommendation. We do an ad campaign focusing on holidays all over the world, sharing themes of family, tradition, and love. Overall, this was just a great project and I learned a lot and I got to do a lot. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.